In this session, you're going to explore a critical piece of identity security that often flies under the radar, which is securing workload identities. You've already learned that workload identities allow apps, services, and scripts to authenticate and operate without a human. Now it's time to understand why these identities need strong protection and exactly how you can secure them in Microsoft Entra ID. You might think that because a workload identity isn't tied to a person, it's less risky. But the truth is, if a workload identity gets compromised, it can be just as damaging, if not more, than a user account. Here's why you need to take their security seriously. Many of the apps and services you use are granted broad or sensitive permissions, often more than they actually need. If an attacker gets access to one of these identities, they could read, modify, or delete critical data and disrupt key operations in your environment. Workload identities typically run in the background, without any direct oversight. Because there's no human interaction, attackers who compromise them can stay hidden longer, silently performing malicious actions without raising alarms. It's easy to make mistakes with workload credentials. You might hard-code secrets into scripts, store certificates in plain text, or forget to rotate credentials. These errors can create serious vulnerabilities that attackers are quick to exploit. In a growing environment, you'll end up with hundreds, or even thousands, of workload identities. Without the right visibility, management, and controls in place, they become your biggest blind spot, waiting to be exploited. Securing workload identities might seem like a big task, but you can manage it effectively with a few strategic steps. Here's how you can take control and reduce the risks associated with these non-human identities. Begin by reviewing the permissions you've granted to your applications and service principals. Don't let them have more access than necessary. Instead, assign only the roles and API permissions that are absolutely required. Use Azure RBAC or Microsoft Entra roles and scope them tightly so that each workload only sees what it needs to function. Whenever possible, switch from manually registered service principals to managed identities. These are built into Azure and relieve you of managing credentials altogether. You can choose system-assigned identities, which are tied to a single resource, or user-assigned identities, which can be shared across resources. Either way, you eliminate the need to store secrets, which significantly lowers your attack surface. If you still use client secrets or certificates, make sure you set expiration dates and rotate them routinely. Don't let them linger forever. A better approach is to store and manage these secrets securely using Azure Key Vault, which also supports automated rotation. You can now apply conditional access policies to service principals, just like you do with users. Use this feature to block risky sign-ins, apply IP-based restrictions, or require additional checks before allowing access. This adds a strong layer of protection for your workloads. Keep an eye on how your workload identities behave. Use Microsoft Defender for cloud apps and Entra ID sign-in logs to detect unusual access patterns or spikes in activity. If you have Entra ID P2, enable workload identity risk detection to catch suspicious events like token theft or odd login attempts. Finally, make it a habit to regularly audit your environment. Identify and remove old or unused app registrations. Deactivate service principals that are no longer needed. Set expiration dates for credentials so you're prompted to review them before they become stale. These steps will help you secure your environment, reduce risk, and bring workload identities into alignment with your broader identity protection strategy. So, what's your key takeaway? To secure workload identities, you need to follow practical steps. Grant only the permissions your apps truly need. Use managed identities to avoid storing credentials, rotate secrets regularly, apply conditional access policies, monitor behavior for anomalies, and clean up unused identities. These actions help you reduce risk, improve visibility, and strengthen your overall identity security posture.